I've done a few videos this week that I think are important for my audience, for the people who follow this thread of information, our group, or if you're not part of our group but you're interested in this information. I've done a video for my queens on online dating and how to do the process correctly. So I want you guys to watch that. That's on my YouTube channel. It's a 2-part video. It's 10 minutes and 10 minutes. And it talks about how to think of it correctly and structure it correctly, such that you do it with the minimum amount of disappointment and the maximum amount of results. So I want all my queens to take advantage of watching that. If you're not doing the process that way, tell me why, and tell me your results with your approach, because my results have been pretty good. So I think you should do it my way. All right, I want to remind you guys about scammers, because somebody's like, oh, I got a message from you about a reading. Guys, I don't do any readings. I don't do any of that. And I don't get in touch with anybody ever. Okay, if you got a message from me, it's not from me, it's from a scammer. Anybody who's on TikTok who has more than, I don't know, 10,000 followers will have scammer accounts. So please watch out. Please see if the message is in line with that creator's general content. But I think thread with care. Look if you're on the right account. I don't want anybody to get scammed, you know, especially using my image. But in general, I don't want anybody to get scammed. Be very careful out there. I don't contact anybody. If you need me, you have to contact me. So if you get an email from me, it's not from me. Okay, we're doing in the group the 60-day challenge. We have a few new people doing it. I'm excited. When you're doing the challenge, guys, what's important for you is to have a very defined manifestation, to spend the time to define exactly what you're trying to achieve. And your manifestation, what you're trying to achieve, should never be another person. It's not, I'm married to John Smith. That's my manifestation. That one, this group probably can't help you too much with, because it's against sort of the way I look at things. It's not that it's impossible for you to end up with your SP, but it's just not how I work here. You have to be okay with ending up with somebody that you're majorly in love with, who's majorly in love with you, who's an amazing match for you, and who makes you happy every day. If that's not your goal, you're in the wrong goal. If your goal is John Smith with all his flaws and just changing his ways and things like this, don't come to me. Okay, you got to be smarter than that. You got to put yourself first in order to be successful in this work. And you have to put yourself first in every single area of your life. Okay, in your health, in your money making, in your family, in your you got to put the goal first. The moment you want somebody, you're not putting them first. You're not putting yourself first. Okay. Manifestation of the week is going to be, somebody in my group gave me the idea with this because she was just playing with it. It's gonna be, you have to see this week a car with a license plate that has something like your name in it. Okay, so if you know her name was Vivian, she saw Vivi in the license plate. And I think this is a really fun game, because it's like we're doing harder manifestation now. Our last one was a green car with a 4 in it. So now I just want to go one step further. I want the universe to acknowledge you, acknowledge your name or part of your name. And I'm gonna do a thread in our group, in our Facebook group, so you can leave your picture there, testimonial. Don't use your phone if you're driving, of course. Just say that you've seen it and you've seen this abbreviation of your name. I'll be happy to take that. We're a small group and we're very truthful with one another. How can you manifest this? Just tune into the group energy. Tune into the group energy. If you're part of us, you'll manifest it. And if anybody's in this group, they can explain to you further in terms of what. Okay, so I want you guys to understand the main idea: intention and attention. Attention on your intention. Attention not scattered. In order to measure this, we're going to do a fun exercise during this live. My lives are always Mondays between 12 and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tap with an affirmation throughout the time we have this discussion. When I tap with the affirmation, type in the affirmation, okay? And then also be honest with yourself whether your mind had drifted from your goal. So think right now at the beginning of this live of your most precious thing that you're trying right now to manifest, your most important goal, let's say. All right. And I want you guys to think of it And we'll see if you can keep your focus on it, just on this material and on this live and your goal over the next hour. Let's see if your mind wanders. And this will be your prompt. Okay? So I'm going to do the first one, and then I'm not going to tell you when I'm going to do the rest. I am strong. Every time you see me do an affirmation like this, ask yourself, was my attention here right now? Was my attention on my goal? Everybody understands. Okay? And then I want to talk about, let's see, I've done also a video that did really well on 5 levels of reality creation. That was actually a repost this day from like a year ago, but I reposted it. It's important. It says, check your manifestation game against this 5 levels of reality creation. See where you're at currently in your life. How things come to you. How do they come to you? Easy, hard, level 1, level 2, level 3. So I want you guys to watch that video. It's called 5 levels of reality creation. Okay, let me go back and see what we have. What we have here. Any advice on how to stop masking when socializing and just being authentic and open? You know, it's crazy that we are at the level where we can realize right now, when we're in society, that we are masking, but there's, you know, something in us that's so defective. I'm going to say defective, that we just can't be ourselves. We can't be like, hey, hang on a second. I'm pretending right now things are okay. But this conversation is bothering me. This environment is bothering me. I don't like what's happening. I don't feel like going out, but I don't have the nerve to be myself. That means your life has been hijacked. You might think it's a small thing, that you're being polite, but really what's happening, your life has been hijacked. You're no longer living from your spirit, from your truth. And your spirit, your poor spirit, is struggling inside of you, being like, this is a mask, this is a mask. And your persona, your ego, okay, your energy field, it's just under so much pressure from the world that you're like, I can't do anything about it. I can't. That means your life doesn't belong to you. Right now, you're not at the point to manifest anything at all. You can't even open your mouth and speak to your friends, to your spouse, to your this, about your true self, about your needs and wants. And in general, women have this problem, right? Women have the problem expressing ourselves. Oh, if I'm going to say this, if I'm going to lose him, my kids are going to hate me, lose him. Let them hate you. You gotta live authentically in order to be able to, because it's the spirit connecting. You guys understand that with this machine that's the universe. The spirit is the instructor and takes power over the machine in order to manifest anything for you. But if in your day-to-day life, you're crushing your spirit and you're being like, no, you can't be truthful right now. Nope, you can't express yourself right now. Then how you expect you do a 20-minute meditation? Hey, spirit, can you manifest marriage for me and a new car? Forget it. Your spirit is in chains. It's not gonna manifest anything. Let's see. I am part of the challenge. Could me, she's talking about my 60-day challenge, could me not doing the scripting every single day affect? But sometimes I get caught up with things in the day. This has to do with how much importance you place on yourself and what you're trying to achieve. If you don't believe in this work, don't do it. If you got it and you're with us, you will learn to prioritize it, right? There's no things in the day. Admin things in the day takes as much time as you let them. I could fill my day with admin things every single day. There's always stuff to do. There is another drawer to do. There's another email to answer right now. You need to prioritize what you made the decision to do. You believe in this. You said, I'm committed to myself for 60 days to do this and see what happens. All right? And then what are you doing? Oh, sometimes I try to do it, but the day gets the best of me. What day? The day in the life that you don't like? You don't like your day to day. That's why you bought this challenge. That's why you want to change things, right? I gotta be a little bit hard in terms of your discipline with this work. Guys, it's 60 days. I didn't say 6 years. There's people who are on their 5th, 6th, 7th iteration of the 60 days. You know why? Because they see results, because they committed the first time, because they saw how it works, because they saw how good it feels when you start to put yourself first. Let's see what we have here. The assignment is to be focused on your biggest goal throughout the next hour. Yeah. And you're not going to know when I prompt you, but when I prompt you with the tapping, you have to be honest with yourself if you thought about it. Got injured at work, making a claim. Maybe that's the money to buy a car. I told you guys, the universe does not care. When you have a focus, unless you're constantly focused with harm to none, it may come out of that. It may definitely come out of that. I am magic. Green key, what's this? Want to see if I missed anything. Lisa's she's starting the 4th iteration. Guys, this challenge, you buy it one time and then you can do it for as many years as you want. That's the beauty of it. Please try to be part of the group. It's pretty much the same cost with or without the group, but the group is going to help you a lot. All right, I want to take up some questions that I promised people I'll take, and then we'll talk more about the body and money and a few other things. And of course, I'm looking at your questions. Okay, I just done a video when I got in the car, because sometimes I watch more esoteric content, really more technical content about quantum physics, not esoteric so much. But then I saw this guy puts, or guy or woman, he puts a comment on it. It was a simulation theory video. And this person says it is a simulation. It is already proven in quantum physics that reality is a written program. Question is, who wrote it and where's the computer that runs it? And I want you guys to understand something. This work of improving your life has something to do with the organization of your mind. And the organization of your mind includes asking the right questions of life. Okay? Yes, it's simulation in a way, because it's the universe, it's a neutral machine around us. Okay, not necessarily that we're digital, it's a different kind of simulation. But it's a simulation because we can affect it with our thoughts, it's clear. And then, but he's saying, question is who wrote it and where's the computer that runs it? Those are the absolute incorrect questions. And you waste a whole lifetime thinking about these incorrect questions. Where is the computer that runs it? Would a character in your video game be able to understand your computer? Would that character be able to understand the console on which you play the video game? Would it be beneficial to that character to understand that? Would that character improve their lives or the amount of gold coins that they can collect in this game? Would that character be able to run faster, go to the next level by understanding the console on which you play? Of course not. Of course not. So that question, not only does that character not have the capacity to understand where the computer is and what the computer is, but in addition to that, it wouldn't benefit the character at all, right? The question, who wrote the game? In the end, who cares who wrote it? Who cares? What is the only right question in this case? I'm hoping at least one person knows. You know this is a simulation. You know it's neutral. What is the only pertinent question or couple of questions? How can I win? Exactly. What are the laws of the simulation, really? By which laws does it operate? How can I collect more gold coins? How can I run faster? How can I go to the next level? Right? Those are pertinent questions to ask of the simulation. And definitely not, why does it run the way it runs? Why does God allow for wars in this world? Okay? Don't go there. Keep your mind focused. Once you fixed your life, once you're on the right path, once you know how to use it, then you can focus on helping others. Remember, the oxygen mask comes on you first. Because a person that doesn't have the money for rent, doesn't eat the food that they want to eat, doesn't have the basics covered, should not be thinking about who's running this computer and where is the computer and who's the creator. Nobody should be doing that. How does it work? I know I'm in a game. How does it work? Should be the only question, yeah? I am confident. I thought it's interesting the way people think about things. All right. Somebody said, this is my first time doing the challenge. I'm on day 21. Right now, I'm trying to manifest 468 and the rose along with the other things, but I'm still keeping faith, patience, trust, and letting go as the signs will show. I think it would be very insightful to talk about this. Okay, never try to manifest anything. You're never trying to manifest. So everything that I put out in the group to be manifested will be a sign of your connection to the group when the time is right. So if you're trying, if I say manifest a rose and you're like looking around, where is my rose? That's not manifestation. That's you doing it from 3D. Because really, if you want to see a rose, you will find a rose. Okay, I'm going to a grocery store. They have roses. Oh, wow, I manifested it. No, it has to happen serendipitously. Okay, this is why I like these manifestations with the cars, because you cannot make a green car with a 4 in its license plate. You can't go looking for that. It just kind of has to appear in front of you as you're driving around. So this is why we do a lot of cars. But do not worry about this. They'll all come. The 468 is our group number. When you see that, you're connected to the group. We have a thread there where I said this summer, every time you see it, put it there. And we had so many people put it there because right now, like anybody who's working with our group energy. Now, remember, you're on day 21. Have you done all the dream time that we do every single week, every Wednesday? Have you affirmed for others, like instructed in the 60-day challenge? If you had it affirmed for others, if you're not, how are you forming this connection? That's what you should be asking yourself. Let's say, I know I'm in a game, says Claudia. How can it work? Any advice on where to start to understand how it works? Well, you have to go through my content because that's what my content is about. It's like the practicalities of manifesting and switching your mind. It's not like how to get that guy and, you know, the mainstream things. It's not about that. It's about how to understand reality. There's somebody, sorry, I thought somebody was standing behind me. Do we say how do or how can all this instead of why? Yeah. How does it work? Is that what you mean? How do I access? How do I win? Okay. I want to read the next one. Hello? What's happening here? Guys, give me a second. I don't know. I lost my, okay. So I've also done a video on why is it you shouldn't help people unless they're asking for your help or advice. I know that's super controversial. Of course it does. People are asking me, how does this apply to my kids? Of course it doesn't apply to your kids. You're responsible for your kids. It applies with your interaction with other adults, right? And this was like more a video about how to think if you're getting a lot of problems in your life. Are you meddling in other people's business? Are you there trying to interfere with somebody else's lesson in consciousness? Okay, so this person says, so if you see your parents struggling and they were not taught about imagination, thoughts, etc., are you not supposed to say anything? I thought we were put here to help ourselves, our family, and our lineage. Very interesting, she says. And I think she's being sarcastic in this assessment that she's like in this comment that she's making. But you see, there is a key word in here in her message. And the key word is I thought. I thought we are here to help ourselves, our families, and our lineage. I thought. Just because you thought something doesn't mean it's correct. We think things that are other people's thoughts that are included in our paradigms that operate in our mind. I thought. Yes, based on how you were raised, what you observed, you formed a paradigm that now, yeah, I thought. You think it's real. You think it's like one of the laws of the games, but it's just something that you think. You see the difference? I'm not saying you shouldn't help your parents. I'm saying if you have information you want to share, the way I have information I want to share, and I put it out here, who sees this information? The universe decides who sees it. I don't go there and knock on people. This is why I don't contact anybody. I don't knock on people's door and be like, let me help you. I really know for you to change your mindset and help you. I don't do that. I don't do that with my own friends. They know what I do. They know they come to me if they have a question for me. They don't sometimes they are saying, I don't want to hear that mumbo jumbo. I get it. Although I know they could change and they could change a situation like this with their boss or at home or something, just with their mindset. I cannot impose that on them. I cannot, even if they weren't taught, the universe did not decide it's their time to learn. You know what I mean? So two factors have to be present to contribute to another. One is they have to have access to this information. The universe has to present it to them. It's the universe that has to present it to them. And then they have to take inspired action. They have to say, hey, listen, this speaks to me. I want to follow this thread of information. So it's not enough that you stumble across, let's say, one of my videos. You also have to, it has to speak to you at some level. Otherwise, you're just going to go skip for next, right? It's not your time. That's okay also. Do not impose. I know it's hard. It's hard to think that. When you have kids, do everything you can when you raise them to put this information in their heads so they can have an advantage and a tool in life. If they're 25 and they don't want to hear about this and they have their own ideas about life, you can't help them. I mean, you can, but whatever I'm saying in this video is going to happen. They're still probably going to go through that lesson, and you're going to also incur some problems so you can stay in your lane. That's just one of the laws. It's just one of the laws of the universe. You can believe it or not. You can think, I thought we are here to help you. Thought, okay. That's what it is. I am wanted. All right. I'm going to go next. No, I'm going to stop and see. When you live by example, those who want to learn will come to you. Yeah. And you should always be there to help, you know, but you cannot impose your knowledge upon another. Let me go back to my album of questions. All right. One of the queens in our group says she wants to share a manifestation story, okay? She's been working hard on herself over the last quite a few months. She's saying, if you remember when I moved back here, which, by the way, she manifested the move via this work, which, in bracket, which was a miracle all the way. I started a job locally that is next door to my apartment. It is a drugstore that isn't actually aligned with what I want to be. But that didn't stop me from being my best self as I showed up to this job. The universe has blown me away. The business manager at the Chanel counter in the town's department store told me that I served her at the pharmacy, that I am great at sales and should be working with luxury brands. Within the hour, the account manager from Dior Perfume came over and offered me a job opportunity. Today, I passed the final stage and was basically offered a career out of thin air. Okay, I want you guys to understand that this is exactly how intention works. And this is exactly how easy it should be for everybody. So when you're thinking, I'm in this situation, I'm working in a drugstore, I'm not meeting people, I'm not going to job interviews, maybe I should send out 100 applications, maybe I should do this. It's not, that's you doing life from 3D. What's the key thing in her story that she says? I don't know if anybody caught that. I showed up in whatever circumstance that I didn't want as my best self. As my best self. Whatever circumstance you're in now, you're not getting along with your husband, you're not getting along with your boss, you gotta show up as your best self. You still gotta do the best. Why? Because the you in the life that you want, in the circumstance that you want, will have to be the best. And so you got to get used to being the best to get there, right? When you get there, you cannot be broken from your, disappointment at the grocery store, from your interactions with your husband. You cannot, a book, you can't get there from here. You really can't. You got to be your best self, and you got to be focused on growth. By the way, if you're not focused on growth, we talked about this many times, you're not going to stay the same. I guarantee you now, you're not going to stay the same as today. You're going to get much worse from every aspect. No system stays the same. The only constant in the universe is change. Whatever's not evolving is devolving. So the choice is yours. Either devolve or put in the work on yourself. Let's see if we have something here. So thank you for that testimonial, Queen, and congratulations on your opportunity that you manifested. Let's see. How do I start that 60-day challenge? It's in my bio. Okay, I don't think there's anything else. I just want to respect the people who are on the live, and if there's any questions, I want to take them. But I also take the questions that come to me that are pertinent to a group experience that could teach everybody. If I missed your comment, please put it again, because I'm not going to scroll back. showing up as the future version of you. Yeah, but you have to do that even in circumstances that are eating at your heart currently. This is the important part. Okay, somebody says, hi Mona, I have a question for the next live regarding energy workers. As I mentioned, I asked a psychic to do a cord cutting, which helped. Do you think it's important to be careful with whom you engage to do energy work? While I think the cord cutting helped, I also suspect this person is unstable and I'm hesitant to re-engage them. Am I overthinking, or maybe this is a normal thing for energy workers since they are engaging other people's energy? So, guys, if you do any kind of energy work, by the way, I don't do that for people, but I've had it done it on myself. The person that I worked with, she was working at home. And she was a much older lady. She was like in her 60s. She had the energy of an angel. Every time I stepped in her house, it felt like I stepped in a different dimension. And she moved from my city, unfortunately, and I don't even know if she's still doing this. But I saw her for 2 years, and I'm telling you right now, with energy, you have to be so careful that if that is not the sensation, you got to walk out of there ASAP. ASAP. Okay? It doesn't matter what she's asking. Oh, I'm suspecting she's unstable, or maybe she's picking up other people's energy. It doesn't matter if she's unstable or she's picking up other people's energy, because the result is the same. You don't want some transfer to you that's going to damage your cord cutting, but maybe she's putting something else on you. The energy, we're all energy, right? So remember, this bubble that we're surrounded by, your main job is to protect it. And right now to cleanse it if you came into this work, because it's polluted. All our energy fields are polluted by our interaction, by others, by the thoughts of the collective consciousness even if you don't interact with anybody. Okay, so your main job is in purifying this. She's right, cutting cords, forgiving. Guys, cut cords by forgiving. I know it's harder. I know you'd rather pay $200 to go to a psychic to cut this cord. I don't want to forgive this person. Can you just do something where I don't have to forgive them and you just cut the cord? Does that make sense? You do anything except face your soul. Do anything. You pay any amount of money. Do you guys know I had somebody who contacted me? This was last year. They were like, Mona, here's my manifestation. I'll pay you what it costs to manifest it. I said, what do you mean? I go, like, you just do it for me. I don't have time to work on this. I'm just like, high producer. I don't have, what does it cost for you to manifest this for me? I was like, it doesn't work that way. Like, I just thought the whole thing was funny, right? They're like, no, but give me a price. Anyways, happy Monday, everyone. Happiness, everyone. I am healthy. Was your mind here? Huh? Anybody? Remember, when I tap, you got to check your attention. So, never go back to anybody to conclude this conversation, to anybody that you had a bad feeling about. Never, ever. I once walked into a nail salon. I didn't like the feeling. I don't know. I was like, I'm not letting these people touch me. It was just like this negative pressure. So I want you guys to trust your intuition, because as you're doing this work, your energy field is going to learn to read energy. Okay, it's not just logic, energy. Gotta feel okay at the minimum. Really, it should feel good. But if it doesn't feel good, elation, at least it should feel okay. You're actually focused on your goal that time. I like that. You see how that works? You see how much you have to train your mind? You got to train your mind. Guys, like, you got to train your mind like it's an animal. Like, and I'm such an animal lover, and I hate making this parallel, but this is how. Okay? In its natural, instinctual state, it will go negative. You understand that? The mind in its natural state will go negative and chaotic. That's its natural state. And we need an education, and we need to be told from the beginning, not just like read and write, but we need an education from our family just to manage that chaos and that negativity, that the mind goes in the wrong direction. I don't even know if you're asking me if we're more instinctual than consciousness. Everybody's like, oh, we're all consciousness. I think it's a strong 51-49. and the 51 is instinctual, but it's probably more than 51 that's instinctual. What do you guys think? I think without control, it devolves very quickly to that stage. You know, like all those horror movies where, you know, there's an apocalypse and, you know, all the educated people and the empathetic people, they become criminals very quickly. Yeah, I think it's a lot, like it's more than 50% instinctual for sure. It's no small things, because by ignoring my feelings in life, I totally disrespected my boundaries. Yeah, and that goes to that comment of the person who said in the beginning of this live, how can I take off my mask? Right? At some point, your mask becomes impossible to take off if you ignore your boundaries so much, and you become like a shell of a person. You're not you anymore. You can't fulfill your life purpose. You might feel like, oh, I should be a successful musician, or you have no chance from that point to become anything, because you can't even open your mouth to tell somebody, you know? But here's an important, interesting question, Lisa. Maybe you can answer. Why is it that you disrespected your boundaries? Okay, here's a question we got to contemplate. Why do we disrespect boundaries that we know we have? Things feel bad, yet we don't put a boundary there. Why? That's the deeper question, right? You got to sit with pen and paper and be like, why have when I tell you guys to say, what error in my thinking has gotten me to, you know, have a broken heart, for example? Because everyone else came first, I was conditioned. Okay, anybody else? It's an interesting question. Anybody else? Come on, everybody has broken their boundaries at some point. Your needs didn't matter. It's another one. Yeah, it's a great question. I want to see if anybody else has. Why have you broken your boundaries? Okay, a lot of women break their boundaries because they were told, okay, let's say in relationships, men are not perfect, so you got to accept every man will cheat anyways. So fear of rejection. Yeah, fear you're going to lose even the 20% that's meeting your needs. Don't want to hurt others' feelings, but you don't mind hurting your own soul. Fear of speaking up because you usually get very angry and punish with withholding attention. Okay, so that spins into another question. Why is it that your identity is tied to receiving their attention? Think about this. Not anymore. I've learned to say no. Yes. Doubt. Love is selfish. See, these are paradigms, guys. Everything you're typing right now, all of this is paradigms. These are the paradigms we have in our mind. It's what is a paradigm? It's the way we understand things work. Things work this way. If I do this, then this will happen. My salvation was linked to their favor. Yeah. Your salvation is linked, should only be linked with what? I'm okay if you say with God, with Jesus, with whatever you think your salvation, because you're looking at something that's at least inspiring. But it's also, I'm okay also if you say my salvation is linked with living with my true self. Okay? Guys, it doesn't matter if it works or doesn't work. What matters is for you to be you. That's why if you believe in God, okay? If you don't believe in God, there's a purpose you're here. You got to live as you. You cannot live as me. I cannot live as Paris Hilton. I cannot live as a man, you know, like in my case. Because I have my own things to live. I'm obligated to live my truth in a sense. I'm obligated. I feel like others won't survive if I don't help them. Then they won't survive, Annie. Then they won't survive. How do you know you're not interfering with their life purpose? And I'm not talking here about children, you know, your parents who are on life support. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the others, the everyday others. I was a gift to my ex, and I know that now. Sandra, I feel the same way. I feel the same way. I was also a gift. I know it now. But the thing is, sometimes the gift that you are is not for that person. you know? In a sense, what I've learned with my ex-husband is it doesn't matter how much I was a gift if I wasn't a match for him. Do you understand? He needed something else at that point in his life, not the gift of me. So there's a way to resolve this, such as without this resentment of he didn't appreciate me, he didn't, he took away my self-esteem. There's a different way to look at this, which will facilitate forgiveness a lot better. And that way is to understand that you can be 10 out of 10 from every aspect of lives. And it doesn't mean you're a match for every man. That's the hard truth. But that's okay. It's okay. I am strong. Where are you now? Hi, Mona. How can I overcome others' beliefs over my own beliefs of who I am? Just time? No, it's not just time. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. You got to write it down. Why? What do others think of me? How do others see me right now? How do I see myself? In general, the way you see yourself will probably be very close to how others see you. Unless it's that example that I gave, that you can see yourself as a gift and the other person still doesn't see you as a gift. Then you got to write down how you want to see yourself and work to bring yourself there. No, it's not just time. Time doesn't do anything if you don't do anything. Time only devolves you. I was thinking if my exes are limiting beliefs that are still holding me back. 100%. If you put yourself through the mind of this person didn't want me and therefore there must be something missing in me, then 100% that's creating a limiting belief. You got to go with your mind, whatever I told Sandra just now. I was a 10 out of 10, or maybe I wasn't a 10 out of 10 then, but I was still at doing my best. And so my best was not a match for this person. That's all. It doesn't mean you weren't worthy. That's all. But this implies you have the boundary. If you're not a match for somebody, which they show with their behavior, they're not treating you like a gift, you're out. Why? You can only do that if you know you're a gift. You're like, I'm not his gift. I'm a gift, but not his gift. That's okay. You got to really be okay with everything that happens in 3D, guys, because you got to understand in 3D, a lot of the time is purging your previous thoughts and your previous decisions. Okay. So remember, input determines output, but through time. So the input is the way you show up, your beliefs, your paradigms, and that enters the system, okay, the universe, the simulation. And the output is that, but the way it works is through time. So here you are at the end of your relationship with the output. So output, what you have now in your relationship today, okay, whether it's over or whether you're still in it, this is the result of your past input. What you have with your boyfriend, your husband that's not working right now is the result of your past input. And your only true power, the only power you have is in what? Is in learning to give new inputs. That's the only power you have. If you just would like to put in a new input, that's not enough. You have to know how. Your only power, and I say the power is in the now moment. Yeah, but it's not in changing the now moment. You have no power in changing the now moment. You have no power in changing your relationship. Your only power in the now moment is to give new input. And for that, you need to know how to do it and to be consistent about it. Being okay with 3D is extremely freeing when I manage that. Yeah, 100%. If you've had those moments, now I'm pretty much a pro at this. Even if something annoys me, I am immediately like, oh no, this is okay. It's okay. There's a reason why this didn't work out. Yeah. Surrender. Guys, surrender. People ask me, what's surrender? What's this letting go? What's this? I don't want to give up. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is accepting 3D the way it is right now. You accept it. You're like, oh, okay. I have a shitty relationship. I'm accepting that. This is the result of my past inputs. So what errors in my thinking have gotten me here? Now you gotta analyze your input, right? You can't change the input if you haven't analyzed the input, right? You can't. Yeah, that's all you gotta do. Let's see if I missed anything else. I think I had another question. I am powerful. Where were you? Got you this time. Okay. So remember I talked about the video about 5 levels of reality creation? So this person left a comment there. It says like, and I said level 5 is like when something just materializes in front of you. And it's kind of like freaky. And most people wouldn't even want to be there in terms of their manifestation. This person is saying, I suddenly became a level 5. Freaks me out. I get nauseous. The thing is, it's been materialistic things that I don't really need. Then I feel sick, so I tell them to go away and they disappear. I have to work with it because I don't care to create anything I don't want to deal with or make go away. So first of all, you got to know it's probably not the majority of us and it will never be. There are people like that. There are people who can make all sorts of situations and material things simply appear. Okay, why is this? You know, when you're thinking about it, everything that happens around us and all the laws, including the natural laws, they work on probabilities. Okay, the big computer simulation, it just gives a probability to every event happening, including the sun shining above our planet. Okay, that has a probability also. Nothing is ever 100%. But the probability is so strong. It's so 99.999. Okay. But there are people who will be able to affect any probability. Okay? If they don't know how to control it, this will happen. It will freak them out. And that's not what I wanted to talk about it. I want to talk about what they say next. The thing is, so I tell them to go away and they disappear. Okay. When you get something you don't want, remember, we have to give it back purposely. We have to give it back and say, this is not what I want. This is not, you need to learn to speak. Remember, speech is like magic. That's how they do magic, right? You have to speak things into existence. You can speak things out of existence. And what is this? This is called also, when you do it on purpose, it's called cursing. That's speaking things out of existence. By the way, it's done in the Bible. Do I have any religious people here? I'm very familiar with the Bible, okay? Jesus is walking by a tree and like a garden, and he's hungry. He's looking to pick up fruit and eat it. And there was no fruit on the tree. So he curses the tree. That's the only curse he does in the whole Bible. And he curses the tree. He says, you know, like he's just frustrated in that moment, but he has this power, right? He has a power that he doesn't always control. It doesn't work with the switch, right? So because he's so irritated by that moment, he says, may you wither and die. And immediately the tree does that. And I think, look, there's so much esoteric knowledge in the Bible that makes sense to me in terms of manifestation, especially in the story of Jesus, that it's just like, that's exactly how it would work. You would not have, unless you're so controlled and so disciplined, you will manifest things you don't want or you didn't mean in that second. The power of, if there's a power of cursing, and there is, okay, when you say it with your heart and, you know, your mind, your speech and heart are in coherence, it's going to happen. And it goes to follow that the opposite is also going to happen, right? When you bless something into existence, which is what Jesus' life story is all about, it's the same thing, right? You bless things, you speak things into existence. But you always have this duality and both of these powers at the same time. Anything, when you feel your powers are increasing, anything you say kind of comes, that works the other way also. So this is why it's very important you evolve as a person. So you don't use, but the game kind of keeps control over that. So if you are able to manifest the small things, but kind of like not the big things, ask yourself, is there a reason that your power is capped? What does this mean? Important concept here. It means you may not be evolved enough to have this power and not use it for evil, for cursing, for using it to somebody annoyed you, you wish something bad on them. Okay? Because any power, any access to the next level that is given to you has plus, minus. Okay? Good, bad. That's how it works. Okay. I have one more that I want to read. Hi Mona, I need to share something with you. That day when you had the live session about money, I became aware that I have guilt and shame around not knowing how to properly charge for my worth. How many people have this problem, I wonder? That same day, I found out that my musician colleague took 500 euros that I earned and that belonged to me. When I asked him about the money, he played dumb and treated me like a fool. I won't go into details, but for several days I felt intense anger and it felt like my energy was looming over him and I couldn't help myself. I said, everything will come back to him. I will witness his karma. I don't wish him harm, but one part of me wanting him to suffer the consequences because he knowingly did me wrong. And all this time, I've been feeling my energy hovering over him. Tonight he called me and told me he has a car accident. Did my energy influence this, or is it karma, or both? I don't know. Can you share your opinion on this? We just talked about this, yeah? She's part of our group. Guys, I set up everything in our group, okay, with the intention, with harm to none. But I gotta tell you, there's some people in our group that are gaining a lot of momentum in their own, in their own journey. It's very, very important how you use this. Like in her case, she didn't mean to hurt him, but he did her wrong. And I guarantee you in this life, people do you wrong. Okay? People, it's just a normal part of living in a sinful world. We're going to run into those people. How you react to those people can seriously harm them. I'm telling you now, just so you be prepared. Because if harming them is going to create this guilt and shame inside of you, think about it. When you think ill of somebody, think one step further. What if this comes true when I'm thinking about them? Is that going to be like, I'm going to be like, thanks God he had a car accident? Or are you now going to be in this state of guilt and shame and asking questions and what am I going to do? What am I going to, things will happen, good and bad. Yes, it's very likely your energy had to do with this because, he stole from you. So now he incurred a financial loss with his car accident, right? So that makes sense, right? It's being balanced. But you shouldn't spend your energy hurting the people that hurt you. You shouldn't. See, all that very, very directed energy, you could have directed turning the 500 loss into a 1500 because, it's like the 3 times thing. It has something to do with it. Just say, I know, I asked the game, I am given 3 times as much. And now when you get that 1500, I've done this and I know it works. Okay? It's not that nobody ever cheated me out of money. When I saw how it works, I let go of punishing anybody. By the way, money never comes from the person who takes from you. Never. That's not how the universe doesn't care. Remember, it's neutral. It doesn't care that this guy's a crook and he needs to be punished. That's just a story. But you can get back 3 times your losses. That is the promise. Okay? If you just let go and channel that anger and that energy into getting something out of it. Just say, it's okay. It's the acceptance of 3D, remember? I am wealthy. Where were you? Where were you? Okay, we talked about this. Remember, guys, I want to say it again. If you get an email from me or a message from me or whatever, it's not from me. I never contact anybody. If you need me, you have to contact me, okay? That's how I keep my content pure and I don't mess with anybody else's trajectory in life. I want to see if you guys have anything else. And then I want to talk about something very interesting. I haven't talked about this before. And I want to tell you, if you are overweight and trying to lose weight, because a lot of our content is about manifesting. And I told you guys how to do it with manifesting the ideal body with your mind and thinking of your mind and thinking of yourself as 1% matter and 99% energy. It's all under my body, manifest body playlist if you want to watch it. But I want to tell you an important concept right now. If you're not doing that, if all you're doing is diet and exercise, and you're watching these people who are going to the gym, losing weight, shaping their body, and nothing's happening for you, you can't lose weight that way in 3D. It is very common for people who are highly spiritual or who have a connection, okay, to not be able to lose weight that way, in the way of the 3D, which is diet and exercise. I have people tell me, I don't eat anything. I have like this small portion and I don't lose weight. Okay. But if you have the powers and you're not doing energy work, you're just spiritual, okay? What happens is the energy that you channel is what keeps the weight on. Because remember, the body needs energy to function. Pay attention to this. The people who are able to quickly go to the gym in 3 months, shape up, and lose all the weight, they're not spiritual people, okay? So what happens is the body consumes the fat and the energy. The body just needs energy. So in order to produce energy, it melts the fat off of them. That's how it works. But if you have energy pouring in from here, the body won't melt the fat because it's easier to use this one. You understand? I bet you never heard about this before, but it's true. Do a kind of like look around you and see if that's the truth for some people in your life. The people who easily lose weight with diet and exercise are not spiritual people. Let's see. You just aligned with my life. Makes sense as an energy worker. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It's something to think about. If you can't lose weight, if you're a spiritual person, you got to do it my way. You got to do it the way I describe and manifest body. Because diet and exercise is not going to work as well for you as it works for other people. I am magnetic. Where were you? I give people prompts in this life just to see if their attention is still on their intention. Know what I'm saying? Okay. Another thing I want to touch on, we don't have time to go in details, but I want to talk about the lack mentality. I want you guys to understand happiness and unhappiness, okay? And money. People say money doesn't bring happiness. The lack of money definitely brings unhappiness, 100%. And you got to understand that the generations that got by with very little and were happy, they do this interviews, or they used to I used to see these interviews from pretty much before social media. They would go to these very poor countries and they would ask these people, are you happy? And all these people look awful. They didn't have half their teeth and they were like 35 years old and they're saying, yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with my life, okay? It was much easier in those generations before social media to be happy. Much, much easier, okay? Because they didn't constantly observe what they are missing. We now, with our phones, all we are fed is what we are missing. We're not fed reasons to be grateful, and we no longer are able to, unless we discipline ourselves, take delight in the small moments that unfold around us, okay? When a child does something funny, when your baby burps, when, there's so much to life that can make you laugh and giggle, and those people had that. Right now, you probably, when something happens, you're typing an email. You're watching some social media. And what do you see on social media? On social media, you see how everybody has it better than you. Everybody has it better than you. Okay? Everybody's younger than you. Everybody's in a better car. There's 16-year-olds making $3 million a year in e-commerce. I don't know. All the stuff you see on social media, okay? And even though a lot of it is fake, now remember what happens to our brain? Okay? Our brain does not know really the difference between what's real. It's not our brain, it's our subconscious. If that image is something you desire and it goes in your subconscious does not know if it's real or not. That's how manifestation works, right? The subconscious manifests that what is imagined, whether it's real or not. But it also works in reverse. When you observe something, your subconscious is not like, well, yeah, but this photo is filtered. No, your subconscious will absorb, this is what you want to look like. You don't look like that. You don't look, now all of a sudden you have feeling of worthlessness inside of you. So you're constantly in this lack mentality. I want you to understand, only because it's important to know that for you, the journey to happiness is much more tied to having all of your needs met than it was with other generations. You gotta have all your needs met. All your needs. Your rent should not be something that's on your mind. Your food should not be something on your mind. Your transportation should be easy and it should flow. And before you have all these things set up, it's really difficult to self-actualize. It's actually impossible to self-actualize. I want you to not feel bad about wanting money, because it's important. You got to have your needs covered in order to become a better person. Remember the Maslow hierarchy, okay? If you're at the bottom and you're lacking food and shelter, you're not going to worry about empathy and love and contributing to others. You're not. Actually, you have to be okay financially to even consider helping others. The only people who are not like that would be like really, really highly spiritual people, like monks or people who, they go about Mother Teresa, she's not worried about her financials before helping others. But for regular people like us, if I was worried about how my mortgage is getting paid this month, I would not be online, contributing. You're right? Because I'd be like, I need to go to a job and make the money to do it. That's the difference. In order to contribute to others, you have to have your basic needs taken care of somehow. You have to set up your life somehow that those things are taken care of. I am loved. That was the last one. All right, guys. So if you're part of my group, this Saturday we have a group coaching session, which means I do a thread in the Facebook group and you put your personal question there about maybe something is not working or you need further clarity on, and all of those questions get answered on Saturday's session, which is also posted on the Facebook group. This live will be posted publicly on my YouTube channel if you want to if you want to rewatch it or watch parts of it. Okay, I end everything by tapping 3, 6, and 9 times. I am a winner. If you want to do it with me, thank you so much. Thank you. If you want to do it with me, please do it. Otherwise, this is the end of the live and I'll see you next week. Okay, one breath together. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.